Mervyn Malcolm Dymally came to America from Trinidad, West Indies, when he was 19 years old to study journalism at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. He finished his undergraduate degree in California at Los Angeles State University, where the weather was more suitable for a Caribbean native. He became a teacher of handicapped students in Los Angeles Unified School District. While teaching, he joined the Young Democrats and served as state treasurer. In 1960, he was actively involved in the Democratic National Convention in Los Angeles and served as field coordinator for the John F. Kennedy campaign for president. In 1962, he successfully ran for the state assembly and embarked upon a political career and lifelong mission to advance the interests of disenfranchised people in California, throughout the United States, and around the world.
Some 50 years ago, I came to the California Assembly, then went on to the Senate, served as Lieutenant Governor under Governor Jerry Brown, then went to Washington, D.C., where I served as chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, came home in retirement, and then returned to the California Assembly for 6 years.
Mr. Dymally is a consummate politician. He's a behind-the-scenes operator, and most of the things that he's done, I don't think he really gets credit for them. I mean, he has done some phenomenal things that we kind of take for granted now, but you know his career spanned so many years and so many different positions that you have to try to track him to really keep up with his accomplishments. But in California, when he was in the legislature, he was one of the members who made sure that women had equal property rights. He, in Congress, was the guy who got the Japanese their reparations. Every time I see him, I ask him, where are ours? And he has, one time he was flown back in to break the tie to decriminalize same-sex relationships, long before the movement picked up today for same-sex marriage and all of the things that are going on now to try to bring the LGBT community into prime equal rights of their own. And so he's a gentleman that operates behind the scenes. He doesn't make a whole bunch of fuss about it, but he is very effective.
Mr. Dymally has broken down many barriers and opened many doors for minorities and is considered the godfather of African American politics in California. As chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Mr. Dymally flew to Brazil to accept a peace award for Nelson Mandela, while Mandela was still imprisoned in South Africa. He then flew to South Africa to deliver the award to Dr. Mackie Mandela, Mandela's daughter, on behalf of her famous father. When Mr. Dymally left Congress, he began cultivating relationships all over the world to promote social equity and global progress. He traveled to Cuba with the Reverend Jesse Jackson to meet with Fidel Castro. He traveled extensively to Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean as a foreign affairs consultant. And he worked to improve politics and public policy in his native Trinidad. Mr. Dymally mentored and brought along scores of African Americans into politics. He also guided a diverse group of politicians of all races, including former Assembly Speaker Robert Hertzberg, former Councilman Richard Alatorre, and many other non-African American politicians. Los Angeles City Councilman Herb Wesson Jr., a former Assembly Speaker, said that no one has opened more doors of opportunity for people than Mr. Dymally. And former Congresswoman Diane Watson said that Dymally was a powerful mover and shaker in California, and few people had more political wisdom and savvy than he when he returned to the Assembly. In his most recent term in the legislature, Mr. Dymally was referred to as the Dean of the Assembly and was affectionately called His Excellency by fellow Assembly members because of the many titles he has had during his 40 years in public service.
Mervyn Dymally is one of the legends of California political history. He was one of the first African Americans to become prominent in our state's politics. As a senator, later as lieutenant governor, and then as a congressperson. He was there in the forefront, fighting the battles of civil rights, economic development, and mentoring so many young political people who came after him. I'm very proud to say Merv Dymally has been a friend of mine. I wish him well, and I'm very glad that he's upholding the finest traditions of us older folk who still cling to power. Merv, congratulations.
Preserving the legacy of this storied legislator and public servant, the historical papers documenting his service are housed at California State University at Los Angeles, his alma mater, and at the University of California, Los Angeles. We thank God for his legacy. We thank God for Dr. Mervyn Malcolm Dymally.